Is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I'm thrilled that I got to go after Mr. Moore because I'm hoping that our witnesses today will apply their same strict construction on the First Amendment to the Donald Trump administration. I hope it doesn't matter who you think is violating people's free speech rights, who is doing the censoring, that you will have the same ethics and the same integrity. I myself worked for the ACLU. I represented people whose speech I did not agree with. I believe we need a robust protection of the interchange of ideas. However, today, not last session when we had these hearings, today, the greatest threat to free speech in America comes not from the media, not from big tech, but from Donald Trump himself. And he has just made that plain. You don't even have to look around or have an investigative report. He's just telling us what he's doing. So this hearing today, unless we talk about the Trump administration as well, is not about protecting the First Amendment. Rather, it's a distraction from the fact that the Trump administration is actively working to chill speech, intimidate reporters, manipulate the flow of information, and manipulate the American people. All true First Amendment threats from the leader of the free world. And let's be very clear. Trump thinks the First Amendment only applies to speech he agrees with. His administration, as we've heard, is purging journalists from press briefings, silencing reporters who dare to challenge him. CNN, The Washington Post, The Hill, all evicted from their Pentagon offices and replaced by outlets more favorable to the administration. We just had the recent AP kerfuffle over the Gulf of America. Why? Because this administration does not want accountability. It only wants propaganda. Trump's own media company, Truth Social, same name as what they call the Russian news source, Pravda. Pravda means truth. Did he rip it off from Vladimir Putin or the Soviets who invented that in the first place? And it's not just the press. He's going after whistleblowers, firing inspectors general, purging career government employees who refuse to bow to his demand. He's sending a message. Speak out, or simply do what you were hired for, and you will be punished. And he's done this before. He's done it in court cases. He's done it as a private citizen. But now he has the weight of the government behind him, and that is why the First Amendment is implicated. Now, my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, if they really cared about censorship, they'd be condemning these blatant abuses of power that leave our nation less safe. But instead, they either sit silently or they enable it. So let's talk about big tech. My Republican colleagues spent years attacking social media companies, claiming they were biased against conservatives, also starting their own, all because the Biden administration flagged certain posts, including one telling Americans to drink bleach during the height of the pandemic. But now, big tech, because it's in their financial interest, is cozying up to Trump. They're rolling back content moderation, allowing disinformation and even hate speech to spread unchecked. Reports show that Trump and his allies are pressuring tech companies, making sure their voices are amplified while dissenting voices are drowned out. If you didn't like it during the Biden administration, you have to condemn it during the Trump administration. Facebook, also known as Meta, has gutted their content moderation and safety teams, rolled back hate speech standards, and when Trump was asked if the decision by Meta was a direct response to Trump's threats to Mr. Zuckerberg in the past, he said, probably. Yeah, probably. So when we talk about the First Amendment, It has to apply across the board. I'm frankly glad we're having this hearing today so that we have the opportunity to raise these concerns so early in this very dangerous administration. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I yield back.
Gentlelady yields. I now recognize Mr. Kiley for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Today's hearing is an opportunity